Today we're continuing our look at the Skywalker Saga, or rather the important stories that took place in between the major episodes of the saga. Last week we covered the canon stories that took place in between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. This week we're exploring the 30 years in between episodes 6 and 7. The Shattered Empire comic by Greg Rucka picks up immediately after Return of the Jedi, introducing us to Poe Dameron's parents and the concept of Operation Cinder. The Emperor posthumously begins an attack on the galaxy to throw it into chaos. The rebellion fights to protect the affected planets, and Luke begins a hunt for Force relics, including the remains of the tree that once stood in the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. As Operation Cinder rages on, members of the Empire begin to see the error of their ways or grow weary of the fighting and defect. One of those defectors is Yrica Quell. Her story is told in Alphabet Squadron by Alexander Freed. She joins a New Republic task force that fights against the TIE Fighter Squadron Shadow Wing. Another group assembles on the planet Akiva. Led by Nora Wexley, her team is sent to hunt down Imperial war criminals who have remained hidden in the Aftermath trilogy by Chuck Wendig. They assist with the liberation of Kashyyyk, and their journey ends at the Battle of Jakku, where we learn that the true purpose of Operation Cinder was to tear down the Empire in the wake of the Emperor's death. A handful of worthy Imperials are given coordinates into the unknown regions, and they escape, led by Grand Admiral Ray Sloane. 2 years later, Han and Lando are forced to confront their checkered past in Daniel Jose Older's book Last Shot. They have to track down an old weapon they both tried to acquire years ago in order to stop many of the galaxy's droids from being turned into killing machines. Jumping ahead over 20 years, we get to Claudia Gray's book, Bloodline. Leia is nominated to become the Chancellor of the New Republic Senate until a rival learns that her father was Darth Vader. Her political career is ruined, but she also learns of the First Order, although not by name, and she establishes a resistance to stand against them. A New Republic pilot named Poe Dameron joins her and is sent on a mission to find Luke Skywalker, who has gone missing by this point. Poe first seeks Lor San Tekka and races the First Order to discover clues as to his whereabouts. They narrowly reach him first, and Lor heads off to see if he can find a lead to his old friend Luke. In the meantime, Poe takes another New Republic pilot named Kaz under his wing. Together they investigate First Order activity in and around the planet Castellon and an old refueling station in Wild Space. Kaz defends the station from the First Order, and when he learns it's actually a starship, he launches and escapes. Technically, some of that Resistance stuff takes place during The Force Awakens, but oh well. I skipped a couple of stories as usual because I don't think they're super important to the overall story of the Skywalker Saga, like Phasma, which simply tells the Captain's backstory, and The Mandalorian, but that's mostly because it's not out yet while I'm making this video. It might have some ties, but I expect it to be largely separate from the overall story of the Skywalkers. My goal here is to just give you a very basic understanding of what happened in galactic history in between each film. But those are all the stories that take place in between episodes 6 and 7. Next week I'll cover the stories set in between The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, and yes, there are some. Until then, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.